Hey everybody, Terry with the Drone Cav. Welcome back to another exciting, thrilling, chilling, sweltering hot Florida day episode of the Drone Cav. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad Black Dog is here. We're all here, right? We're going to have a good time today. All right, before we get started, I want to let you guys know about something. If you don't know, now you know, and I'll probably say it again at the end of the episode. Twitch. What does Twitch mean? Twitch is our new platform. In addition to our Facebook page and our YouTube page, we are now on Twitch. Take a look at it. Sign up. Follow us on Twitch. We are going to be having all our shows on there as well. Third platform as the Indie Brigade expands. Twitch is really cool. I think you'll like it. The video quality, the audio quality, everything's fantastic. You can interact and chat and all that stuff. So yeah, so jump over to Twitch. Look for us, Indie Brigade, and hook up with us there and start watching us there. It's a really, really cool platform. So anyway, Twitch commercial over. Right. So what are we talking about today? I don't know what you want to talk about. Let's talk about tech stuff. Let's talk about the kind of back end of drone stuff. All right. Drones as a piece of hardware are really cool. The cameras are fantastic. They're just growing and evolving like crazy. But without software and programming and firmware, you ain't got nothing. You got a paperweight, right? You got to have the flight control software to get the thing in the air and to manage the camera. I mean, to basically do everything, right? So those things kind of go hand in hand. And if you kind of picture in your mind, you have flight control, which is positioning the drone, moving the drone around, however you want to do, and the camera settings to shoot your video or stills or whatever you're shooting. Those operate really independently, but they also, kind of merge together because you're in the air flying a camera platform. So, flight control software, for example, the DJI Fly app works with the Mavic Mini and the Mavic Air 2. I'm a big fan of both. I'm flying both of them like crazy. I love the Air 2. It's just knock it out of the park. Wonderful, wonderful drone. The Minis, when they came out about a year ago. Has it been that long? Is time flying like that? Could it be? The planet spinning? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but it's been about a year. This little guy really kind of changed the game. Small, tiny, light, relatively inexpensive. You've heard me say it before. I'll go through it one more time. The basic Mini with one battery and the controller is $400, right? Okay, that's good. It's not a lot of money to get in the game, but go ahead and spend the extra $100. I mean, if you have to, save it up or whatever, it is well worth it because it's going to give you extra batteries. It's going to give you a case. It's going to give you some extra props and some extras that you're going to want. If nothing else, you're going to want those extra 2 batteries that come with it to give you 3 batteries because you will get out flying. And if you're going to get out and practice, you're going to want all the flight time you want. So if you're going to have to drive, halfway across town or out in the country or wherever you want to go practice, you don't want to go out there and get in the air for 20 or 30 minutes and then have to pack up and come home, right? So get all the batteries. I mean, even if you want to buy extra batteries, get all the batteries you can. So anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. I'm easily distracted. The software, again, is what controls everything. Now, the DJI Fly app has been upgraded since this guy came out. When it first came out, it kind of offered basic functionality. It didn't do a whole lot. It had a couple pre-programmed flight modes, and that's cool for recreational flyers. Professionals, we typically fly manually because we want to set up and compose our shot and control it manually. We can use bits and pieces of that, and like Active Track, you hear me talking about that all the time. I'm a big fan of it because it can really help smooth out your shots in certain circumstances. So DJI Fly is a cool app. It's been updated along the way. It's added some really cool functionality. It opened the door to some camera settings that were like exposure settings that were really, really lacking on this guy. And again, keep that in mind. There is so much capability built into a device already. And I say that going to your smartphone or your tablet or your computer or whatever, software is what runs the show, right? As long as your hardware can support it. Now, for example, this added functionality that came along for this guy, it was pushed out across the air in an update. No, DJI engineers didn't sneak through the window at night and solder a chip onto the board and sneak back out, and all of a sudden, boom, in the morning I had this functionality. Come on, right? So having cool software and having capable software is really important. Now, I'm typically a purist when it comes to sticking with the factory stuff. When it comes to things like props, batteries, the engineers that design this thing and build it and monitor it and manage it and again create the software ongoing, they know how the performance specs for every bit, piece, screw, clip, everything is to operate on this. So, you know, don't go like on Amazon and buy those flashy blinky light props and I mean, come on, they might work, they might not. If they fail, okay, it's gonna be on you because you were using some cheapo thing for novelty. And again, just try to avoid novelty stuff when it comes to this. And I would say that in the same vein with the software, there's not a ton of third-party aftermarket software out there, but there is some. Now, I will kind of make a bit of an exception. There is one app out there, and I'll probably mangle the name, but it's litchi or however you want to pronounce it. It's spelled Litchi. It's been around quite a while. What does it do? What does it do better than the DJI? Well, it adds functionality to different drone models, that different DJI models, that doesn't come from the factory. And now I say it's been around a while. It's been around quite a while, several years, if not more. And for example, like an older Phantom 3, been around a long time. Litchi will add functionality to a drone like that. Even the Spark, which was the predecessor to this dude, it adds functionality to these older models that you can't find in the factory flight control software. Well, is it any good? Well, yeah, I've used it off and on for a good long time, and these are not fly-by-night developers. I mean, they've been around a long time. So I think they pretty well got their product figured out and got their game sorted out. So anyway, they need, though, some code to have as a foundation to build their features and their feature set and whatever their additions are on top of. That's called an SDK, a software development kit. That's released by the manufacturer, and it's sort of the blueprint to the firmware or the software that they can take and work with to build on top of that to build whatever features in they want. So, you with me? I don't know, I'm kind of losing myself. It's crazy, right? Crazy stuff. This programming stuff gets wild. So anyway, DJI recently released an SDK for this guy. Litchi, of course, being sort of the big guns, they moved in. They are really knocking it out of the park with this guy. Now, the final build, I don't believe is available yet. I'm using the beta test. I will caution anyone, if you use beta software, it's test software, be prepared and be expecting failures. Not that you're going to see them, but there's going to be a very high potential for hiccups, glitches, bugs, headache, heartache, you name it. Anything can happen, especially if you get this guy in the air and you're not comfortable using the factory release software. You're not ready to put it up with test beta software just in case something goes wrong. But the final release is just that, the final release. They're confident that the majority of the bugs and things are worked out of it, and it's ready to go for prime time to the public. So what's going on with Litchi and the beta software? Well, I'm just telling you, they've taken this little guy, this little drone with a really good camera. Ooh, doggy. They have upped the game with this guy. If you're a Mavic Mini owner, you are going to be just dazzled. If you're not, you're going to want to be a Mavic Mini owner using Litchi. Two big things. They have added AEB, exposure bracketing. And if you're familiar with what that is, that's where you set it to automatically take a series of pictures from, they're really quick, at different exposure values. So it's going to take like one at a high value, mid value, a low value, kind of like HDR, but you can expand that range out. And I can't think right off what the bracket number is that it takes. Either 3, 5, sometimes they'll do 7 shots. So it takes those shots, merges them all together, and creates an optimized image. So it averages all that out, gives you a really nice clean image. Now, of course, you can do that manually already. I mean, if you want to go take a picture, sit there, change your exposure, to whatever. I think there's a 0.7 differential in this AEB. Go, take 3 images, 5 images, 50 images, whatever, and merge it in your software. But again, that's work and stuff you got to do, and you got to be familiar with. This is it's an automatic thing. Panoramas. Ooh, taking pictures all around. Let's get a nice big landscape. If you saw any of my sunset pictures I've been putting on Instagram, Facebook, things like that, usually, if we've been having some beautiful sunsets here, I'll put this up about 100 feet, do a pano, and it comes out really nice. Now, a cool thing about pano is, if you remember from a prior episode, is you can stitch that together and get a high megapixel image. Now, that's done in your software on your computer. How cool would it be if it did it right in the app for you? Not bad, huh? On an iPhone, it will stitch in camera, in the software, a pano, 100 megapixel pano. Sweet, right? What if you're just like super crazy and you're using an iPad Pro? Specifically, an iPad Pro. Nothing else. Not an iPad Mini. I use a Mini. I use another iPad. iPad Pro will stitch, I believe, a 220 megapixel image in the software. Seriously? This little camera? Going to a 220 pano? See where we're going? Now, the other big thing, and I'm a big fan of active track. I love tracking. But tracking is pretty sophisticated. It has to use GPS. It has to lock onto a subject. It's got a lot of stuff going on. Obstacle avoidance is usually built into that whole thing somehow. Where the minis do not have obstacle avoidance, this will fly into anything at any angle, forward, back, left, right, up, down. It will fly into and crash into a tree, a power line, a building, a person, a dog, a cat. Doesn't matter. So you still got to be careful with that. Tracking. Now, I don't know how it's working, if they've got some magical, mystical voodoo, but it works pretty well. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this up in the air and let you look over my shoulder. You're going to peek at the screen. We're going to watch just a couple of these settings. I'm not going to shoot a pano and do all that today because it just quite honestly gets a little boring, and then we're just going to look at the setting and say, oh, okay, 100 megapixel. So you've seen a pano, you know the thing. Just understand that it can do that. But I do want to show you the tracking, how to set up a tracking shot, and it's just, I'll just use myself. I'll just walk around a little bit. But just to show you what it can do. So let's get ready for flight. What do? We've done our pre-flight. Props are on tight. I'll be checking the hardware out here as we set up. What am I forgetting? What is it I'm forgetting? What do people forget and break their gimbal and their... Remove the gimbal guard. Never, ever, ever forget that. Paint it bright red. Put a big sticker on it. Whatever you have to do. Never forget to take off your gimbal cover. Because when you power it up and that gimbal starts doing its self-check and calibration and rotating around, you don't want to burn out a gimbal motor, right? Nobody wants to burn out gimbal motor. Last thing before we fly, keep hydrated. You got to have a drink. It's scorching hot out here. Crazy hot. I need a cool drink. But we had a Dr. Pepper crisis today. No Dr. Pepper. What do? Shift over to Mountain Dew. See, there's always an answer. There's always an answer here at the Drone Cat. Get in touch with me. I've been talking to a bunch of you people about drone stuff. I want more. Come on. Talk to me. Send me questions. Let's get you in the air. Get you flying safe. Get you some cool cinematography. So we're going to put this dude in the air. So how cool is that? It just stuck right with me, right? I just did a few maneuvers, went around, went up to altitude. But how about when we got to the top of that point and I did the arc? Did you see how it kind of stayed focused right on me? I know you're still target locked. How it stayed focused on me while I did that half orbit. You could lock onto a subject. Again, like say the front of a house, or maybe the peak of a house, or again, it's like tall statues or whatever. You could lock on that and do a nice orbit. And it's going to give you a nice, clean orbit. And you're letting the software do a lot of the work for you. So anyway, cool stuff there. I hope that just kind of told you a little bit more about the muscle, the horsepower, the capabilities coming out of small packages. Again, this guy shoots up to 2.7K. I mean, that's going to be good for a lot of cases. I mean, don't think this is like, this is a toy. It's not going to, man, you'd be surprised with what I shoot with this, what you can get out of it. And again, it's all technique, know what to use, the software, and all that stuff. That's why I'm here. Terry at blackdogdroneops.com. Get in touch with me. Get in touch with me. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. And where else? Twitch. Give Twitch a look. Indie Brigade. Sign up. Twitch is pretty awesome. You will love Twitch. So anyway, we'll see you there. Again, I'm here. You need anything? See you next week. Have a good one. Stay safe. And if you don't have Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew's just good. I love it.